Hello everybody, got a video for you today. I don't know if you want to call it a talkie, a rant, a spilling of my guts. I'm not going to do too much of that because I got too many guts. But to those who have followed me, you know I'm just a down-to-earth guy. I don't maintain I'm anything else but. I'm outspoken. Very outspoken. I put my foot in my mouth many times. I get into trouble on the internet many times by saying something before I think and somebody taking it the wrong way, etc. If you haven't done that, you ought to try it. It comes from being in the public view. Whenever you're in the public view, you open yourself up to haters, people that want to tell you how to run your channel. The list just goes on and on and on. And you sort of have to have an easygoing demeanor to put up with all that. And sometimes I fail there. I fail. And I know I fail. But you notice by the picture up here, heaven and hell. You know, we all struggle with that. I struggle with it. Do I believe there is such places? I believe there's such places in your mind, in the human mind. Is there a physical place like that? No, because after we die and leave here, we're no longer physical. What do I want to say here? We all have our fears. And inherently, hell is one of the fears of many men on earth and women. And we've all been brought up that way. I believe that what happens to us after we die is inherently what we think in our minds, how we perceive it, how, you know, we've all been brought up to think that heaven is a bad place and heaven is a good place. But nobody actually has any proof of that. What proof do we have? We have the Bible, a book that's over 2,000 years old. It was written by sometimes people who wasn't actually there. You know, they just heard about it. You know, handed down stories. And you know, so can you really put 100% faith in every book of the Bible? I say no. Why? Because there's been a lot more books of the Bible that have been eliminated by people who think they know better than you or me. Theologians, supposedly wise men, people of the church that didn't want you to see some of these books. And if they had left them in the Bible, I mean, the Bible would have been a lot bigger. And, you know, I always go back, this as a reference, Genesis. We all are brought up to think about Adam and Eve. But how many of you in church have been told about Lilith and Eve, or Lilith and Adam? I bet none of you. Because that Bible, that part of that book is no longer in the Bible. It's been removed. So supposedly, when God created man and woman, He created them, and He didn't use Adam or rib from Adam to create Eve. He just created her. And supposedly, from what I've read, Adam asked Eve to do something, and she wouldn't do it. She rejected him and opposed him and wouldn't bow down to Adam. So she was banished from the Garden of Eden because of her not submitting to Adam. And supposedly this day she's a demon of some kind. She was thrown out of the Garden of Eden and cast into hell. But you don't hear about that. All you hear about is Adam and Eve. And Eve was made from a rib of Adam's. And that was God's second time He made Eve. And He made her out of the rib of Adam, which actually makes her part of Adam, because He used his rib to make her. And now she's subservient to Adam. She has to do what he tells her. She is a part of him. You know, so there's a lot of different variations and stuff that go on in the Bible. I don't know that much about it. to be perfectly honest with you, I have never read the Bible all the way through. All I have around here are old King James versions with the these and the thous, and I don't understand half the words, let alone, what they're trying to tell me. I guess I need to buy a new Bible that's been, converted into modern day language that I can understand. But I haven't. Will I? I don't know. I'm not much of a reader. If I've been wanting to read Darren's new book. Darren has his own paranormal site. It's called The Unseen World. And he has a book. He's an author. And his book is called Voices from the Unseen World. You can find it on Google or Amazon. You can Google it or find it on Amazon. But anyway, Darren says that there's very little paranormal in the Bible. I know there's a few verses in there that says that we're not supposed to talk to the dead. They feel it's a form of necromancy, and other things in there. But like Darren says, there's very little paranormal in the Bible, but there's a whole lot of Bible in the paranormal. And, heaven and hell. If you do paranormal, you can't do it without coming across these things. And that's what it's about. That's why I started doing this paranormal, is because I wanted to find out about the afterlife. What happens to us after we die. And I'm afraid of dying. I'm still afraid of dying. I think most people are afraid of dying. If they say they're not, they're fooling themselves or trying to fool you. It's inherent in our makeup. We are afraid of dying, although we know we're going to, and we can't do nothing about it. That's just like talking to these ghosts. They tell you all kinds of things, but how do you believe them? You can't see them. You have no proof. You can't take it with a grain of salt. At least I can. I can't be faithful to something like that. The only thing I've been faithful to so far is Lisa, and because she's supposedly an archangel, and I participated in a couple of those crossings over, and I believe them are true. I believe she's true, but other than that, I really don't believe in too much other than that. Darren, by the way, is in New Zealand, and Darren seems to be a very religious man. He seems to know the Bible up and down, and which is not a bad thing. But I just wanted him to know that I think pretty much a lot about Darren and what he does, and I'm glad to have been able to know him. Now we get around to something else. I went around to a few websites this morning looking at videos and stuff, and I ran across Kevin's newest video. Something about noise and something, a couple pedals, he's trying to take noise out of the PBS 7. Now I want Kevin, you to know right away, if you watch this, that don't take it as anything against you, because it's not. But Kevin talks to these people in the circle. The head guy in the circle is supposed to be this guy called Nathan. Now this circle is supposedly made up of spirits on the other side, good spirits, higher level spirits than what I talk to, that want to further communication between the living and the dead, and that's basically what they're there for. And I've also contacted another place, what were they called? The Connection, I believe is what it was called, The Connection. And supposedly this Connection place, you have to ask for a tech, and then ask the tech to connect you to the connection, or I guess that's what the name of it was, the station, I think is what it's called. And once they connect you with the station, it's more or less like the same type of deal that Kevin talks to with the circle, except this place supposedly is a place where you connect to talk to your loved ones, your father, your dead mother, your dead brother, etc. They go out of their way to make it possible for you to talk to your own family spirits. I've connected them once, but I've never gotten any been able to talk to anybody in my family, and then I just sort of gave it up. I'm going to be talking to him soon enough, so I didn't figure it's not on my top of my list. But impressions about these places. Well, I'll tell you, Kevin's circle, although he likes it, he believes in it, and he's faithful to it, and that's all well and good, I am exactly the opposite. Today he put that video out, and he was asking them about Larry, and right away, supposedly this Nathan come back and just gave him a rash of shit about me, telling him that I am no good and stay away from me and blah 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 blah. Well, you know, when I think about that, I think bullshit. Start with some of the EVPs that Kevin got. I heard something completely different than what he annotated, and of course, you know that happens. EVPs, different people hear different things, and I heard different things than what he was hearing, but they weren't good. But one of them said something about he's fucking bad. Well, now, if Nathan is so goody-goody, why would he say fucking? And that's what they said. He's so fucking bad. That's what I heard in the EVP. And I'm sure that a good Mr. Goody Two-Shoes would not say that word. So, right there, you know, it gives me doubts. I have doubts about the circle. I've been deceived twice. And you can be deceived by these spirits. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. You can be deceived. Whether Kevin's being deceived or not, only time will tell. Only time will tell. That was the camera to focus. But, you know, I don't think me and Nathan ever got off on a good foot. The first time I tried to talk to him, he'd give me a bunch of shit. So, you know, first impressions, you know, we all have first impressions when we meet somebody for the first time. How many people have you met and right away something clicked in your mind says, I don't like him. I don't like him. He's no damn good. You've got opinions about him. You judge him. I think the same thing happened between me and Nathan. He just don't like me. I mean, you know, what more can I say? You don't like me because I talk to lower level spirits. I am not committed to talking to just upper level spirits, as Kevin calls them. I'm happy to talk to any spirit because I don't feel I have a right to judge whether they're good or bad. They're just spirits to me. I don't care, you know, what the hell they are. I know they're dead, and I know I'm not supposed to talk to the dead according to the Bible. It doesn't say in the Bible you can't talk to the dead, but you can talk to the good ones. Don't say that. So all of us that do this might be in a big bunch of trouble anyway. So old Nathan is just one spirit amongst millions and millions and millions. And if I'm such a bad person, why don't I have such a good connection with these spirits? Do I have just a good connection with the bad ones? If that's so, how come I've been a part of, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 crossings over? Why doesn't Kevin ever hear these crossings over? I mean, I would think if he's talking to all these higher level spirits, why doesn't he hear these crossing overs? I mean, I put up a video the other day, an example of one. It said it had 60 ready. They said it was full, and then they said something about portal. The portal was sparking, not good. And I mean, you can go back and listen to some of my sessions I've had where they were crossing over, you know, people from Sheol or Hades, whatever you want to call it. Supposedly the reapers come down from heaven and they are paradise, and they choose the good from the bad. They reap the like it's like wheat, you know, throwing out the chaff, the bad ones, taking the good ones up to paradise. You may want to call it heaven. I call it paradise. I'm a Christian, and heaven to me is not until the final days of when God reappears, Judgment Day, and then you go to heaven or hell permanently. But until then, to me, it's paradise. So, but anyway, Kevin said he thought I was not saying nothing bad about me. I was alluding to my health. Well, I don't go along with that. If he was alluding to my health, why didn't he mention my health? He didn't mention my health. He just said I was bad, you know? So, couldn't make it more plain. He said I was bad. So, I have real mixed emotions with this Nathan dude. It seems like he likes to judge. If he was human, his demeanor might not be, mine might not be compatible. Just like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you have first impressions of people, and you meet people and you don't like them, or you do like them, and maybe that's the case. But it seems like he has a problem with me. And now this is not against you, Kevin. And I'm not saying you do this, Kevin, but to me, that Nathan seems to like people to kiss his ass. And I'm not an ass kisser. Maybe the ass is not a word I'm supposed to say if I'm a goody good two-shoe. Now, I'm not saying you're a goody good two-shoe, Kevin. Don't take offense to none of this. But it seems to me that Nathan wants to talk to goody two-shoes, Bible bouncers. I mean, Bible people, and only the best of the cream of the crop, and anybody that is not in that category is bad. That's the way I perceive the guy. I could be wrong. I might be 100% wrong, but that's my impression. I think he just has a problem with me, and I'm not going to kiss his butt. Instead of telling Kevin all that, when Kevin asked him to say my name, if he truly feels that when he's such a goody good to you, why would he talk behind somebody's back? And that's what he's doing when he says that shit to Kevin. He's talking behind my back. I get out here and talk to spirits all the time. Why does he come in and confront me? And tell me what the reason is that he doesn't like me. And tell me and get it off his chest. Just like I would do. Just like I'm doing now. But if he's so good that he can't lower himself to talk to me at all, I mean, come on. We all have opinions, but whenever I hear the circle or Nathan, to me, boop, a flag pops up. It just, I don't know what else I can say. But that's about all I guess I got to say about that. And like I say again, Kevin, nothing against you, buddy. I mean, you can have faith, and I can have faith in different things. Everybody has faith in something, whether they want to admit it or not. But I just got to tell you, it's so easily you can be swayed. I mean, you know that. Look at how many lives Huff has swayed with his bullshit. Look at the followers he's got. And you know how the man is. I mean, I know how the man is. I mean, some of you out there are going to say, oh, he's the best goody. Fine. If that's what you believe, that's fine. That's what makes us all different. We all have opinions. But I'm torn between this picture here. You see the hand of God and you see the hand of the devil. Which is going to grab me first? I mean, it's a struggle we have all through our life, is it not? Good and bad. Most of us know good from bad. Some of us, not so much. Them are the ones that get in trouble in life. You end up in prison, kill people. I have to admit to you, bare my soul, that once when me and my wife was having trouble, I got so mad, and I have never been that mad in my life since. You ever hear about being blind because you're so mad at somebody? I was so mad at one point, I was going to kill her. That's all I had in my mind was hurting her. And that's all I think I had in my mind. I mean, I was blind mad. I had never been like that before. I don't even remember driving to work. I mean, seeing how people can kill people in a fit of rage, I absolutely understand. If you've never been there, I'm glad of that, and I hope you never are. But I've been there. And I know how in a drop of a hat, just like a drop of a hat, one of your loved ones can die, you can kill somebody. Even though you think you're good. If something makes you mad enough to be blind mad, goodness is not in your mind at the time, I'm telling you. And so, life is sort of like a gamble, you know. It's sort of like gambling, you know. And two scales. You have to weigh the good with the bad. You have to make decisions their whole life. And it seems like, to me, if it's a bad decision, it's held against you. And if it's a good decision, oh, good for you, I'll pat you on the back. But if it's a bad decision, now some people don't forget. Some people can't forgive. And they hold it against you the rest of your life. So I guess that's all part of life. I guess that's all part of the learning experience. And for me, after doing this paranormal crap for 3+ years, I ain't too much away from where I was when I started. I mean, yes, I have fun talking to them. Good or bad, I talk to them. Have I learned a heck of a lot? Not a heck of a lot. I've learned a lot. But have I learned anything that really means anything? Not really. You know, I've said this a million times, and any of you that do this must know. They'll tell you one thing one time, the next time they'll tell you something different. And then I've had people tell me, well, they just tell you what you want to hear. And that very, very well may be. And then, of course, you know, you hear about, it depends on your head. How are you in your head the day you try to talk to them? If you're just thinking good and positive and oh, la, 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 kumbaya, kumbaya, you're going to get good spirits. And if you're not thinking that, if you don't meditate, according to Mr. Huff, the bad ones come in. I get a mixture of both. It's like the other day, that last video, you know, they're crossing over people and they were talking nice to me, and then all of a sudden, circle connection. Nathan, this was a wasted mission. Nothing here, it's all bad. See, right away he judged everybody. When he came in and made the connection, he judged everybody. It's all bad. All bad. Ain't a heaven's hell chance of being a good one in the bunch. And, you know, how many spirits are we talking about? Millions? Billions? Am I to think that each time we make a connection with these spirits that we're connecting to a little room and there's only 5 or 6 spirits in there, or 2 spirits in there, or just the spirit that you're talking to? We don't know that. We could be talking to multitudes at once. And we only get a few that we hear because they're the ones that push through the hardest or want us to hear them. It's all a mystery. It is a mystery that we cannot unravel. Mr. Huff wants you to think that if you buy his $1,400 box, his glorified amplifier speaker box, that it's going to make everything different. You're going to have a direct line connection to the dead. Well, don't believe it. You can spend any amount of money you want, and you may not ever get a connection. They don't, you know, some people just can't do it. Some people can't connect. Some people can't hear them. Everybody seems to hear something different when you put an EVP up there. That's why I don't like putting EVPs up there, because you know, people interpret them all different. You know, I put up there what I hear, and people say, oh, they ain't saying that, they're saying this. Very well may be to you. That's how you perceive it. That's how you hear it. You hear it different than I do. And so, what is that supposed to mean? You know? Does that mean each of us has our own individual message we're supposed to hear? Like I said, a mystery. Nothing but a damn mystery. So I guess I've got this off my chest. I ranted and I've raved. And a lot about the circle. I just don't trust them. To this day, I don't trust them. And I don't want to talk to them. The station, maybe, yes, I may try talking to them again. But this Nathan guy seems to have it out for me. He don't like me. And I never give him a reason not to like me. I never say anything bad to him. But he doesn't like me because I don't single myself out to talking to just good spirits. Because that seems to be what this guy in the circle is all about. And I don't fall in that category. So, enough about that. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope all the fathers out there have a great Father's Day. My one daughter's already called me up and asked me what I want to eat today. She's going to buy me dinner. And I opted for some fish, some onion rings, and some mushrooms. You know, the ones they put in the basket like you do an onion ring. So that's what I'm going to have today. I'm watching the hell out of my TV. Love my TV. But I haven't had a talkie for a long time, so this is it. A bit, sort of a bearing of my soul, a little bit, and my opinions on a few things. Whether they're well received or not, I don't know. But anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you for being my subscribers if you are. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I haven't been making too many of these paranormal videos lately, but you never know. You don't know about me. I may get hot at it again. I may not. But thanks anyway for stopping in, and talk to you next time.